Hi, everybody. Today, caregivers are asking, how do I deal with people who are self-centered and only think about themselves? I'm Pamela D Wilson. My website is PamelaDWilson.com. I help caregivers and aging adults. Let's start by looking at what is a self-centered person, and even more importantly, do self-centered people realize that they are self-centered? Part of being self-centered comes from our environment. It comes from how we were raised as children. Were we always the focus of attention? Were we the spoiled child? If yes, we can be self-centered and not even know it. Other examples of self-centered people might be people that you know or friends that you have who are the life of the party. They crave attention, they need attention, they have large groups of friends, they have people who follow them. Other examples are individuals in the workplace who crave a lot of attention, and elderly parents and elderly loved ones who need care. The reasons that people crave attention are different. For an elderly parent, it might be because they're alone all day. And when you come home or when you come visit, they require a lot of attention because they've been alone all day, haven't been talking to anybody, haven't had anyone to help them. And you show up and all of a sudden you're there. You're there to help them. You're there to do everything that they need. When thinking about if an elderly parent is self-centered, consider that. Consider how much contact they have with others on a regular basis. Consider if they're isolated, lonely, or depressed. That can make a person appear to be self-centered when they're really not. All of us are self-centered to some degree. We may not want to admit that, but we are. How do we look at the idea of being self-centered and manage that? So let's look at some examples. Let's say that you have a person who is overly critical of other people, constantly complains about everything. You can listen to that. A question that you might want to ask is, I hear you say that. I hear you say that you don't like that. What would you do differently? Turn the subject back around to that person. A, they like the attention, but B, it may help them think about, gosh, maybe I'm being too critical. How would I do that differently? And many times they aren't going to have an answer. All they want to do is criticize, complain, and blame. Let's look at situations where someone may say, oh, that's not going to work for me. I don't know why you think that. Stop a moment, pause, and say, well, explain to me why you think that won't work, or why you don't like that idea. I'd really like to hear your opinion. Again, you're spinning that conversation back toward them, which they love, but you're also trying to help them think differently. Redirecting the conversation, like we talked, is always a good idea so that you don't feel like you are stuck just listening to them constantly and not having your needs met. We can always, what I call, close the door, deny entry to somebody else who is self-centered by just ending the conversation and saying, I can't talk about this right now. Let's come back to it another day. Sometimes self-centered people have a need to always be right, to always be correct, because they are insecure themselves. We all have that. When we look at situations, the best thing that we can do for ourselves to avoid us becoming self-centered is to look in the mirror, turn that mirror around back to us. If we're critical of somebody else, what are we critical about ourselves? If we're complaining about something, why don't we do something about it? Why are we complaining? I'm Pamela D Wilson. A lot more help for caregivers and aging adults is on my website at PamelaDWilson.com. Also check out my weekly radio show. It is called Caregiving Trap. It's every Wednesday night. Thanks for being here. I'll see you soon in another video.